You're listening to the Cookbook Love Podcast with Maggie Green, episode number 353.
Welcome to the Cookbook Love Podcast, a podcast that celebrates cookbook readers, buyers, collectors, writers, and clubs. And now your host, cookbook author, culinary dietitian, and cookbook writing coach, Maggie Green.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Cookbook Love Podcast. Talking to you today from my cookbook bunker here on a rainy morning in Kentucky. Excited to just have a solo show with you and share some things that are on my mind. Before we get started with our episode today, which is 7 pro tips to turn from recipe collector to cookbook writer, I do want to share that I have an upcoming summer event that I have designed just for you if you have been carrying the thought of writing a cookbook in your heart for a long time. Now, I know it's summer and maybe you're spending days at the pool, time at the beach, slow mornings on your patio with coffee, but summertime is the perfect time to do some pre-cookbook writing work. Things that you need to accomplish and think about before you actually set out to write your cookbook. And that is why I have designed and developed a new experience just for summertime called Cookbook Camp. Cookbook Camp is for you, again, if you have been carrying this desire to write a cookbook in your heart for a long time. So in the link in the show notes, there is a reminder to add to your calendar that registration for Cookbook Camp opens on Monday, June 16th, which is next Monday. And you can click the link, add the reminder to your calendar. There is a URL there, cookbookwritersacademy.com/camp. And on June 16th, that link will take you to the sales page with information all about Cookbook Camp. I'm working on the offer now, very excited to bring it to you because here's what typically happens in the summertime. We change the way we do things seasonally, which of course is true, but it is the perfect time to think and write. It's the perfect time to lay the foundation of the book that you want to publish maybe this fall, because newsflash, in September is when I do my fall session of cookbooks on KDP. Cookbooks on KDP is where I teach people how to publish their recipes and stories in a book on Amazon, but you have to pretty much come to that program ready to publish your recipes and stories in a book. And there's a lot that goes into getting ready to do that. And I think summer is the perfect time for you to do that. Now, if you're interested in a book deal, writing a cookbook proposal, this pre-work is important also because you can't just jump into writing a cookbook proposal until you know a few things about what you're going to do, who you're writing your book for, et cetera, et cetera. And summer, again, is the perfect time to think about this because we slow down, we have more daylight, we have more time, and I cannot wait to offer and share Cookbook Camp with you. So again, go to the link, put the reminder on your calendar to register for Cookbook Camp the week of June 16th, and all the details will be there then. I'll share more about it here on the podcast also next week, and can't wait to see you in Cookbook Camp. Okay, today we are going to talk all about 7 pro tips to turn your recipes into a cookbook. And what that means is we are going to think about how you can shift from just being a recipe collector and a cook or a baker to a cook or a baker that writes cookbooks. So the first pro tip is I want you, number 1, to claim the title cookbook writer. And I want you to tell people when they ask you what you're up to, tell them you're writing a cookbook. I give you permission to call yourself a writer. Because the moment you commit to being a cookbook writer and writing down your recipes and stories and planning the book that you want to write, you step into the realm of being a writer. All we have to do to be a writer is write. Okay? So I'm giving you permission, and I want you to, number one, claim the title of cookbook writer. Number two, I want you to really clarify the reasons that you want to write a cookbook and what this book is for. Is it to preserve a legacy for your family? Is it to teach a method that you have created in the kitchen to other cooks or bakers that you know you can help? Is it to build your business or to create a legacy or a profit stream for your business? If that's the case, your reason becomes your anchor, and it becomes the guide for how you're going to get your book published. So clarify your reasons about why you want to write this cookbook. Number three, to go along with that, then, you need to think about the people you're writing your book for. And I've talked about this before. Is it for your family? Is it for a broader audience of cooks or bakers? Is it for people that you serve in your business? Who is going to read your cookbook? Very important question, because people are the ones that buy our books. People are the ones that we can help. So we have to not only know the reason why we want to write it, but the people that we're here to serve. So 2 and 3 kind of go together, but I promise you the biggest thing is if you're truly just writing for family and publishing your recipes for your family, that is a different way to get your cookbook published than if it's a book for your business or a book for a broader audience of cooks and bakers. Number 4, I want you to choose your publishing path in the format of your book. It occurred to me that some of you might just want to create a PDF of recipes that is downloadable for your people that you serve in your business, or for people that are coming to your email list. That could be a small, tiny cookbook, and that's just a PDF format of recipes. That might be the way you want to do it. Maybe you want to publish this in a nice format for your family and get them printed, but not on Amazon. Maybe you want your book on Amazon, but you want to publish it yourself. Maybe you want to pay a publisher, such as in a hybrid publishing model, where it looks like a beautifully designed, traditionally published cookbook, but you front the cost. Or perhaps you want a book deal in the true traditional publishing model, where the publisher fronts the cost for publishing the book and you provide the content for the book. It's 5 different types of publishing I talked about, 5 different paths, 5 different formats for your book. Think about what you really want. And you might say, well, I know for sure I don't want the PDF. I don't want to just print recipes for my family. I would consider self-publishing on Amazon, or I would consider a traditional book deal. But I don't want hybrid publishing. That's good to know. It's good to know that you're trying to decide between self-publishing and traditional publishing. So really think about the path that you most want and desire, and that will help you to make the decision about your next step. Number 5. Now, this is probably the part of becoming a cookbook writer that a lot of people have not really mastered, and that is the routine and the consistency of writing, having a regular writing practice. Because regular writing is more about how often and how regularly you write than feeling inspired. Let me say that again. Regular writing is more about how often and how regularly you write than feeling inspired. Many people think that I have a writing routine because I walk around all day feeling inspired and I just feel like writing, but that is not true. Writing is a decision, not a feeling. Regular writing time is when you show up to your yellow legal pad, to your notebook, or to your keyboard, And your muse will know to find you there if you show up regularly there. If your muse is waiting for you to focus and give you her attention, but you're never there, then the words can't go on the paper. Don't be led by the feeling. Be led by your decision to show up. And then the muse will find you when you do. I promise. Now, I'm a big fan of Julia Cameron. I'm a big fan of her writing techniques and writing methods and the things that she does to prime the pump, so to speak. And that is her morning pages, a daily walk, and she takes a weekly field trip somewhere that inspires her creatively. For me as a cook, I usually spend my weekly time at the supermarket, places where I can buy food, shop for food, maybe a weekly outing even to eat some food in a different location. I use trips when I go to visit family. I've been to Chicago recently. I've been to Houston recently. I've been to people's homes to eat recently. I've been to a bridal shower recently. I've been on a retreat recently. And all these things have food experiences that I use for inspiration in the type of work that I do. So have some consistency with the types of things that you write. Now, AI is not going to go away. And there are ways that I think AI could be beneficial for you. But I promise you, the most juice that you are going to get from writing will come when you are actually the person who is putting your voice and your thoughts and your words on the page. So it's very important to build a writing routine. I do the morning pages every morning, and then I work and have a writing session on a project that I'm working on a regular basis every day, in addition to, of course, writing that I do for my business, which is writing scripts for podcasts, writing show notes for podcasts, and writing a regular email newsletter that I send every day. I email my email list almost daily, and then also writing any content for any of my programs. So I do a ton of writing in my daily and weekly life. But that's good. It's who I am. It's what I love to do. And I've built a routine around that. Okay, a lot about writing routine, but that's important. It's hugely important. Number 6, I want you to think about organizing your recipes. Now, we maybe talked about this before, but I want you to really think about your first book or your next book as beginning with a set of recipes that you know and love and putting them into lists or categories that you think they should go in for when you publish. I'll never forget my interview with a cookbook author that told me that her book contained her favorite recipes, like what she was loving right now. And this was her 11th book. If you want to go back and listen to the episode, it's episode 273 with Tessa Kairos and her book Now and Then. And it's a gorgeous book, but it contains her favorite recipes from the time she wrote the book, things that she made now and then, recipes that were current, recipes from the past. There's some nostalgia built into it. And it just goes to show you that even when you write your 11th cookbook, it can contain your favorite recipes. And you know what? That's really the root, I think, of a lot of successful cookbooks is love for what you're putting in your book. Because when you love the recipes you're putting in your book, you can't wait to talk about them and make them and share them. And the marketing of the book is just like this offshoot of the love that's bursting in your heart for the recipes that you have. So don't be afraid to organize your recipes, pick your favorite ones, and put those in a book. That's number 6. Number 7 is own your voice. Own your voice. Let me see if I can explain this. Pancakes and omelets are generic recipes, and they sound generic. But remember, your recipes for a pancake or an omelet are anything but generic because they carry your words. They'll carry your experience of making pancakes and omelets. They're going to carry your stories connected to pancakes and omelets, and they will be written in your own recipe style. That is what makes your cookbook worth writing and your recipes unique. So I want you to own your voice and remember that your recipe writing and your content is created by the way you're thinking and about all these things that you cook and the way that you are experiencing them and writing them down. And I'm going to give you an 8th tip, even though I said this was 7 tips. There's a lot of tools for publishing that it's good to know about. You've heard me use the word platform. If you're going to try to get a book deal, you need to build a platform, an audience, a group of people that you're connected to on a regular basis that love to hear from you and that would sort of be a built-in audience for your book. There's also software for book writing. Scrivener is the one that I have talked about before. Maybe it might be great if I did a podcast about Scrivener, update my feelings about Scrivener. I'm using it right now to work on some book projects myself. And then also the tool called a cookbook proposal. The good news about book deals is you do not have to write the whole book before you pitch it to a publisher, before you pitch the idea to an agent or a publisher. You summarize it in a cookbook proposal. And that is something that I teach inside Get Paid to Get Published, my exclusive group coaching program for food and nutrition experts who want to get paid to write cookbooks without spending their own money to get published. So those are some tools to think about also for pro tips to turn you from recipe collector into a cookbook writer. So just to summarize, claim the title cookbook writer, clarify the reasons that you want to write your cookbook, clarify the person that you're writing your book for, choose your publishing path and format, build a writing routine, organize your favorite recipes for your next book project, own your voice that you're going to use to write these recipes, and number 8, be familiar with the tools that are necessary for the publishing path that you pick. Platforms, proposals, book writing software, all things that are going to be what the future version of you will definitely need to be using and creating to get the book written. But these foundational tools here that I shared with you today are really going to help take you from just thinking about this to actually being the cookbook writer that you want to be. So that is it for today's episode of the Cookbook Love Podcast. Again, if you are interested in a slow summer experience called Cookbook Camp, head on to the down to the show notes and click the link to add June 16th to your calendar as the registration date for Cookbook Camp. Can't wait to see you there. And I want everybody to have a great day. And as always, keep loving your cookbooks.
Thanks for listening to the Cookbook Love Podcast. You can find out more information at www.cookbooklove.co.